In today's video, we're going to be explaining how we scaled Exodius Auto Labs to over 6 figures a month in revenue. Now, it took around, I believe, 2.5 years to do this.
Yeah, just about 2.5 to 3 years. And we'll kind of just walk you through the progress we went through, some of the hurdles, some of the challenges, and some of the stuff that worked very well for us. To kind of start out, it was more so, starting off as many shop owners do, where it's, a one-man show in a smaller garage, just doing like your own friends and family's cars. And then going from that to, adding a little bit more, so getting into a bigger spot as the workload starts, as it makes sense. So when you have too many cars for the space you're at, it just makes sense to, okay, either you need more employees or you need a bigger space. And that's the same exact issue that we went to, at least during the start, where, we were only doing maybe 10, 20 grand a month. And then we had to start adding team members. So in that first year, we were, we stayed at one shop. We could only do 2 cars there, and we had 1 employee. So, and that was kind of hovering us around 10 to 20,000. And then from there, we went into a different shop. At the second shop we were at, we were doing about 30 to 40,000 a month. And at that shop, we could do about 4 cars at a time. And then where we are now, just to kind of give you a glimpse of it, it's actually a joint location between 2 different warehouses. So we have this pretty large size shop here. It's about 3,500 square feet. Then we have another 2,500 square feet just on, a couple of buildings down. And we use both warehouses kind of like as a joint operation.
I remember this, I believe it was on our first location, which had the upper floor. It was the marketing. So we decided we're trying to figure out what marketing avenues to try. I think we tried running ourselves Facebook ads, we tried Google ads. But what was the thing that we focused on the most that really kind of, took us from A to B when it comes to marketing?
So I think to kind of start off as a baseline with hurdles and issues and stuff, and I think every shop owner relates to this, is that kind of mindset, or that, thing you think about before you go to bed. It's like, do I have enough jobs for next week? Do I have enough jobs to pay for rent? And that the real issue is, the amount of work coming in. So everybody runs into this issue at some point where you just don't know if the amount of work coming in is going to be enough really to, feed your employees, to pay rent, to pay overhead. And that issue can be resolved. And that's the biggest issue that we resolved was, making sure people are coming through the door, making sure jobs are getting booked, and that ties into marketing then, right? So marketing was a big hurdle that we had to overcome, and I'm glad that we did overcome it and had to actually see it from A to Z, where we've seen the days where, the shops are dead. You don't have leads coming in. You don't have a proper, marketing setup. And then to go from that to learn from those hurdles where we figured out all that stuff ourselves, right? So we went through the hardships of, dumping money into budgets. Luckily, we did come from a place where we had the ability to be able to just dump money, but a lot of people don't, right? So from different ventures, we did kind of have like a nest egg to start off from where, we were able to spend that money and literally just waste it on learning. The benefit that gave us though is now we know, right, from A to Z, how to run Google ads, Meta ads, how to do GMB, how to, handle CRMs, because we built those systems from scratch. And by doing that, now we're able to, offer that to other people as well, and just kind of skip the line, use our knowledge and our dumb mistakes really to be able to skip that line and just be able to get to the good information, the stuff that actually works, the stuff that we've tried at almost every single shop, and the exact marketing strategies we use to be able to get to this location, which now it's about 6,000 square feet combined. We've got, a team of about 7 employees now. We're doing, well over, I'm not going to say well over 6 figures, but, pretty coasting around 6 figures.
Program that we offer, shops now, if we had that program for ourselves, I would say like 2-3 years ago when we started, do you think it would take us 3.5 years to get to this level where we're at when it comes to Exodius?
I think definitely not, and one main reason being is, we've had the thoughts of replicating this exact thing before we start, why don't we just do it for ourselves, right? Why don't we open up another 10 shops in different areas since we have the A to Z method? And I think, it would work out a lot better. So if we were to take this same strategy, honestly, we could get, completely close this down today, and within, I'm not going to say 1 month, we can get set up somewhere, and within 6 months, we could be at a similar level to where we are now, just because we know exactly how to market and how to be able to, leverage that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're able to say it, but we are, opening up new locations. We're planning to open up a tint shop. I don't want to say in which location yet, but that's kind of our move now. It's like we perfected the system for our own shop. We've helped shops all over the nation. We have a shop in New York, Nevada, Las Vegas, like in that area, which is God knows how that shop is doing over 140 grand a month in revenue. But it's very interesting to see now because when we're partnering up with shops, we kind of see ourselves within them. You know what I mean? We understand their problem, and a problem that we faced a lot of times is we actually hired different companies to help us market before. And I want you to go through that because you're the main one who's kind of, choosing these companies and going through, X, Y, and Z. So
I used to sit on those calls, I'm not, at the end of the day, there was a lot of salespeople. Dealing with them wasn't too fun. A lot of booked calls where, it's kind of repetitive with a lot of those guys. And we wanted to basically fix that. We see the issues, we've lived through the issues. We see the people that are offering solutions, and it's not really tailored to exactly what we need, right? So being able to go from doing it ourselves, from being shop owners, I think it gives us so much more of an advantage, compared to somebody that's never, stepped foot inside a wrap shop, and they'll tell you how to, run a wrap shop really.
And then another problem that we kept facing was like, do we trust these people that have never owned a shop, never ran a shop, never applied vinyl in their life, never applied anything, to scale our shop? You know what I mean? It just didn't make sense to us. So that's why when we got to this level, we decided we're like, hey, listen, the same problem that we had, we wish we had the solution that we're offering now for ourselves, like 2.5 years ago.
Life-changing thing or business-changing thing for this industry is having the right processes, whether that's marketing, sales, quality control on the jobs, like you mentioned, ripping off panels as needed because you don't want to send out bad work. But all in all, what matters is people come through the door. You need a solid marketing strategy and you need a solid sales strategy. That's something that now we're able to optimize. And honestly, to this day, every day, we're tweaking it little by little. And that's what we're sharing with the shops that we work with. It's, when a lead comes in. So we'll bring you the leads. When a lead comes in, do you call them? What do you say on the call? How often do you follow up with them? That's something I used to struggle with the most, right? Going from never really being in an industry or I don't come from sales, right? So I don't even know like how often you're supposed to follow up. But after trying out so many different things, we're able to perfect, all those different steps, and we can present it to the shops we work with. And I think that's one of the biggest advantages that, in today's day and age, a shop could have.
100%. But hopefully that sums up the video for you guys. We still are doing, if you guys would, no free shit.
So if you guys like this type of content, podcast style, talking about shop experiences, shop owners, marketing, definitely leave a comment, hit us with a subscribe. So we will be dropping, today we just kind of went into the bare bones, but as far as details go, we'll be dropping a lot of gems in the near future. So definitely stay tuned and, stay posted for that.